This is CNN.
This is a presentation of CNN News for Living.
Today on Living in the 90s, dealing with the scars of separation. How children are affected by divorce.
When she said that they were probably going to get a divorce, I was really confused. I thought they were really happy.
Some tips on planning your financial future. From IRAs to CDs, how to put your savings to work. And later, we'll take a trip to Psychic City, a small town with an extra large number of mediums. The vibrations are in the air. On Living in the 90s.
We're glad you could join us for Living in the 90s. Hello and welcome. I'm Nick Charles.
And I'm Karen McGinnis. You can call it Revenge of the Nerds or call it geek chic, but the bottom line is this. The computer culture, once the realm of that pointy-headed guy in the science class, well, that's now gone mainstream.
You had one of those pointy-headed guys, too? Well, as Miles O'Brien tells us, high-tech is now the hottest thing going.
They are nerds, but they're hip and they are proud. Dial in and log on. The digital generation has hit its stride and found its voice, and it is Wired.
Wired is Vanity Fair for propeller heads. And for people who wish they'd been propeller heads but probably weren't good enough at math in college.
Where computers, communications, and the media converge, so-called multimedia, you'll find Wired magazine. It has become the monthly manifesto of a technological and cultural revolution. Suddenly, it seems, it is chic to be a computer geek.
Geekdom has gone from being a cult to being the culture. They become the culture. The culture of America today is the geek culture of 10 years ago. That's what's happened.
What has happened at Wired is proof there must be something to this. Little more than a year after the first issue, circulation is 250,000, advertisers are in love, and top writers are on the masthead.
We tapped into something that very few people realized was missing.
Co-founders Jane Metcalf and Louis Rossetto run Wired from a converted warehouse in San Francisco, brimming with 20-something digital revolutionaries. Not long ago, computers were closeted away in climate-controlled rooms, and computer users, well, Revenge of the Nerds comes to mind.
Hey, take it easy. Computer's your friend.
Today, computers have come out of the closet, plugged into a global network, and along the way, made a much wider circle of friends.
People are starting to say, hey, wow, there's a lot of stuff going on, and that could be really cool to learn more about it and get involved. And, they're not real pariahs, maybe, as much as they might have been before.
At Wired, they are true believers as well as chroniclers of the digital revolution.
I think we're just at the cresting edge of it. I think in the course of the next 5 to 10 years, we're really going to see some radical changes.
It may be chic to be a geek now, but it could be essential when the dust settles on this revolution. Miles O'Brien, CNN, San Francisco.
For me anyway, Karen, once I got past that fear of the unknown, I don't know how now I could have lived without a computer.
Right.
And the way things keep changing in the field, the dust may never settle.
Well, I think a lot of us need geek chic remedial lessons. I know I do. Well, tomorrow on Living in the 90s, industry leaders try to keep the pace with the rising tide of technology.
Flexibility will mean everything in the workplace of the future. Up next, coping with family crisis. The price kids pay for their parents' divorce.
Someday in the future, every car will be maintained by Precision Tune. Every brake job, oil change, and scheduled maintenance service will be performed by our skilled technicians at prices that are the envy of dealerships. All backed by our 12-month, 12,000-mile guarantee, leaving tow trucks free to spend their time on more artistic pursuits. Precision Tune, a lot more than tune-ups.
We've come here to Norway to ask why Tommy Moe skied so fast.
Och Tommy Moe ska till och med få ett hopp uppkallat efter sig.
Han är en kjempegod skiløper. og står veldig godt på skia ned de bratte bakkene.
Tomppa veti ekalasku ja kivasti ja yllätysmitali tuli hänellä, että...
So, Tommy, what's your secret?
It's got to be that Alaska seafood. Far and away the world's finest.
Tommy Moss is that good? Ikke sant? Så da...
Hello, doctor.
What time will he be in?
My sinuses, they're killing me.
Doctor, I feel awful.
I'm so congested.
I can't breathe at all. I really need some help.
When it's bad enough to call the doctor, it's bad enough for Tavis D. Only no, you don't need a prescription because Tavis D, the same antihistamine decongestant that was the most prescribed by doctors, is now the most recommended by doctors for 12 hours of relief.
I feel good. Better.
Great. Tavis D, 1 tablet, 12 hours, no prescription.
My dandruff itches. I'll try anything. Denorex feels tingly. Not the Head and Shoulders.
Both have effective dandruff medicine, but Denorex has something extra that tingles.
That's why I started using Denorex. No flakes, no itch.
Denorex, the serious dandruff shampoo.
Headline News, the only network with up-to-date business and market reports at 15 and 45 minutes past the hour, around the clock. Headline News, a whole day's news every half hour. Check cable listings for channel numbers.
Divorce may signal the end of a marriage, but it can also be the beginning of problems for children. Today, we kick off a special series examining how youngsters deal with the disintegration of their families. In our cover story, we see how things have changed over the years.
She's my child and she's Linda's child.
Yeah, I felt confused when, see, my mom wasn't telling me about how they were fighting and all.
Okay.
And, when she said that they were probably going to get a divorce, I was really confused that, I thought they were really happy.
Divorce, one child's biggest fear, another's greatest relief.
I'm relieved, that as soon as the divorce is over, that they're not gonna, see each other anymore. I know it sounds rude or something.
No, it doesn't.
I'm relieved that she's not gonna get hurt or they're not gonna fight anymore.
Studies show that most children of divorce are affected in some way, either by divorce itself or by the conflict surrounding the breakup. But psychologists agree divorce is not just the parent's problem.
It's very hard when you're that angry to put the needs of someone else first, but that's what they have to do. To do best for your child. And that's what I explain to parents.
40 years ago, children of divorce came from what were referred to as broken homes. Today, divorce is a more common occurrence. Nearly half of all couples marrying this year will be divorced within a decade. And each year, divorce affects more than 1 million children.
How many of you wished with all your heart that you could get them back together? Mm-hmm. Have you all decided that this is not a possibility?
At Mimosa Elementary in Norcross, Georgia, counselor Paula Webb helps children of divorce deal with their feelings.
First, they were, when they first came in, hesitant, but the minute they realized that everyone else was in the same boat, per se, that they wanted to talk about it and started asking the other students, well, what about this, or how did you handle that?
Sometimes I feel sad because, on some of my vacations, I can't see my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And, sometimes when I'm at my dad's house, I want to see my mom and stuff like that.
Right, okay, and so you're kind of torn there. How do you handle that?
Oh, I call her, and I call my dad.
Together, the kids discuss different ways of handling the breakup.
Confused or, not sure of things, what can you do?
You can go over it to yourself and say it's not my fault, and think of all the things that have happened, how many times that you've really made it happen.
Okay.
And then you'll find out it's barely any.
I think all children blame themselves, and if they spilled their milk at dinner last night, that must be why mom is so mad that she's getting a divorce today.
There are warning signals that indicate a child may not be coping. Severe depression, aggressiveness, decline in school performance. But the most important signal is no signal at all.
Why don't you draw a picture of the worst day you can remember?
I think if they show no reaction to it, that's a reaction. Most people now realize that they're probably in such denial or in such shock that that's a problem.
Probably the biggest misconception is that all children respond in the same way to divorces. Some children can be fine and have no problems and really bounce back. For some children, it can be quite a traumatic experience.
How parents treat the divorce affects how their children react to it.
Try to remember that even though the marriage is ending, the family doesn't end. The family restructures. And children need families for their development, a sense of who they are.
If the parents are handling the divorce process correctly, handling it more like a business relationship than an emotional relationship, then children can be fine and very resilient.
And although no longer husband and wife, parents will always be parents.
She told me that it wasn't my fault. Just sometimes they got in arguments and they couldn't live with each other.
Absolutely. And they divorce each other. They don't divorce the kids.
But the best advice I've ever heard regarding what to tell children of divorce is that they didn't cause the problem, so they shouldn't be expected to try to fix it. Well, tomorrow in our series, taking on the problems of single parenthood, how the Big Brother, Big Sister program can work wonders. But up next, some call it education's dirty little secret.
Do students end up paying the price for pumped-up grades?
It's an absolute disservice to public education and to every student we serve.
And how to save for the future. Some tips on taking money matters into your own hands.
We've come here to Norway to ask why Tommy Moe skied so fast.
Och Tommy Moe ska till och med få ett hopp uppkallat efter sig.
Ja, han är en kjempegod skiløper og står veldig godt på skia ned de bratte bakkene.
Toppa veti ekalaskuja kivasti ja yllätysmitali tuli hänellä, että...
So, Tommy, what's your secret?
It's got to be that Alaska seafood. Far and away the world's finest.
Tommy Moe syns det godt, ikke sant? Så da...
Introducing Volvo Affordable Pricing. Available on new 1994 cars, it makes what have always been the ideal family cars a little more ideal. Okay, if that commercial didn't convince you, we'll send you Motor Trend's video test drive of the Volvo 900 series. Free. All you have to do is call.
This is for my mother, who said, Angela, can't you do anything better with your hair?
This is for women who want something better. A better All-Tress from Clairol.
This is for me. A redder, better me.
All-Tress has a luminescent gel formula for ultimate shine, ultimate color, and the best conditioning ever.
This is for Phil, for thinking Nancy was better. This is for you, honey. You thought you'd be better off with a brunette.
All-Tress from Clairol.
Gorgeous hair is the best revenge. I really didn't want my husband to color his gray hair.
But then I discovered this, the hair coloring called Just for Men.
And now he looks better than ever.
Apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. No wonder 8 out of 10 wives prefer the natural Just for Men look to gray hair.
It's like you took off 10 years.
With Just for Men hair color. And now, new Just for Men color gel for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. Brush in, rinse out, just 5 minutes.
There are two schools of thought on the subject of grade inflation. One side says bending over backward for students doesn't do them any favors in the long run. And the other group says giving kids failing grades damages their self-esteem at a time when self-esteem means everything. Norma Quarles reports on report cards.
And what did the kids learn about from Mrs. DeBose, from that episode with Mrs. DeBose? Ollie again?
Frank Colon has been teaching English in the Newburgh Free Academy High School for 28 years. He has firsthand knowledge of pressure, not only to be a good teacher, but to inflate grades.
Many teachers have been called by parents or by people in the community who question grades and who actually are asking that the grades be increased.
College-bound students and their parents apply pressure.
It could possibly be me. And my course that's keeping this child from getting into the college of his or her choice. And it puts you in a terrible spot.
Cologne, a member of the nation's largest teachers union, is one of 618 presidents of locals who responded to a recent survey. More than half, 58%, said teachers are pressured to pass failing students. 85% said the pressure came from administrators. 63% said it came from parents. And 19% said it came from school board members.
It's an absolute disservice to public education and to every student we serve, and that's one reason why we wanted to publicize it. It's kind of a dirty little secret that's been hiding out there, and we want it publicized, and we want to say that we stand for standards. We want students not to feel good about bad work, but to feel good about good work.
The Association of School Administrators says failing a student can also be harmful.
Some of the most recent research indicates that retaining a youngster in a given grade level and having him repeat that learning experience really does not help enhance his learning. It does not help his self-image.
And what about the students? Do they pressure for higher grades?
I think everybody probably does it. I think whatever grade you get, you deserve. As a teacher, you shouldn't pressure him. If a student gets under a 65, that the teacher should let them take it over.
This is one of the key reasons why students in the United States are not performing well compared to other countries, because in other countries, if a student doesn't do well, they fail them and they give them the message.
Experts say if this practice continues, students will never get the idea that there's work to be done and standards to achieve. And their degrees, once considered a ticket to success, will be pieces of paper to nowhere. Norma Quarles, CNN, New York.
Well, if you can't pump up your grades, maybe you can inflate your income. There are plenty of ways to do it, from safe bets like putting your savings in CDs to riskier ones like playing the stock market. Bill Hartley has some advice to help you plan your financial future.
For many Americans, getting their financial house in order ranks somewhere below cleaning out the garage. But the consequence of little or no planning can come back to haunt you in the future, in the form of bad credit or no retirement savings, just to name a couple. Getting started is easy and doesn't require a degree in mathematics.
Essential financial planning is you pay off all your bills. No credit card debt, no car loan, you don't owe your brother-in-law $37. Okay, that's step one. Step two, you open an individual retirement account. You open an IRA, you can open it up until April 15th of '94 and still take it off your 1993 taxes if it's tax deductible.
Most company-sponsored plans, such as a 401k, will match your contribution up to 4% or 5%. That's like getting a small pay raise. Those who are self-employed can open a KEO. Contributions up to $30,000 a year are deductible, and like an IRA, earnings grow tax-deferred. Investment pros say don't be too conservative and put your retirement savings only in safe but low-yield investments. A good portion of your money should be in the stock market. Aside from building a comfortable nest egg for retirement, you should also try to set aside some money for that rainy day.
You certainly want to have money put away for an emergency fund. The more money you're making, the longer it's probably going to take you to find a new job if your company downsizes, or as we used to say, you get fired.
Brown says invest emergency funds in something safe, such as a CD or money market fund. And getting life insurance is another important element in successful financial planning. Remember, not everyone needs it. Most experts say life insurance is only a necessity if you have dependent children, outstanding debts, or a spouse who does not work.
Up next on Living in the 90s, we're going to Psychic City, USA. But chances are they know we're coming.
Early last year, I came to Casadega, took a reading for half an hour. Everything that I was told last January, February has essentially come to pass almost to the month.
In today's world, managing air travel costs is more important than ever, which is why over 100,000 companies, including half of the Fortune 500, use the same payment system, one with customized billing and reports to help keep corporate travel expenses under control, and the only one that costs nothing to use.
The Air Travel Card. Sounds smart. Let's go with it.
Call 800-222-4688. The Air Travel Card, the smartest route.
Hello, doctor.
What time will he be in?
My sinuses, they're killing me.
Doctor?
I feel awful.
I'm so congested.
I can't breathe at all.
I really need some help.
When it's bad enough to call the doctor, it's bad enough for Tavis D. Only now you don't need a prescription because Tavis D, the same antihistamine decongestant that was the most prescribed by doctors, is now the most recommended by doctors for 12 hours of relief.
I feel good. Better.
Great.
Tavis D, 1 tablet, 12 hours, no prescription.
A wide selection, all the best brands. And now at Pearl Vision, 50% off every frame. Cheryl Teague, Sebastiano, Guess, Gant, and more. 50% off every frame, every brand. Now at Pearl Vision.
Nobody does it like you, the way that you do. Hoover, nobody does it like you.
Kimberly Twigg, Kimberly Mays. She was switched at birth, but adopted children often face Kimberly's choice. Whom do I want as a parent? Today on Sonia Live, 1 p.m. Eastern, only on CNN.
Trying to keep a secret in Casadega, Florida? Forget it. The town is home to dozens of licensed psychics.
And you know tourists come in from all over just to watch them read tea leaves and gaze into crystal balls. Well, Larry Woods puts them to the test.
There's an old saying that if you want to do something out of the ordinary, or even on the spur of the moment, and the spirit moves you, then do it. Well, let us take you to a small town in northeast Florida where spiritualism not only exists, it's the town's major industry and claim to fame. They call it Casadega. It's a quiet, historic community, exactly 100 years old, where some 50 licensed mediums have congregated to dispense their intuitive powers, powers that attempt to put people in touch with the past, present, and the future. The curious and the convinced find their way to Casadega year-round, and many pause for religious services on Sunday.
Hello.
On a recent visit, Jamie Tolliver Ruiz underscored some major beliefs of spiritualism.
We affirm that communication with the so-called dead is a fact scientifically proven by the phenomena of spiritualism. We affirm that all our principles are made possible through meditation and prayer.
Say your name out loud.
To the stranger who may desire something more, spiritual counselors, not fortune tellers, thank you, apply their metaphysical attributes at the services for all to see and later bargain for.
What I'm feeling with you is taller. You're growing taller in this next year because you're feeling more confident, more sure of yourself. You're going to be given some responsibilities around the 2nd of April.
As I go through here, I'm getting the name Richard. What does the name Richard mean to you?
He used to be my fiancé.
Where is he? In spirit? He's very much around you today. He wants you to go ahead with a decision that you've been thinking about making that you keep talking yourself out of.
I feel disagreement, very, very strong right here. I just feel like love's keeping you together, but I don't feel like it's strong enough right now to bring the two of you to the middle of the road.
Later, Bill Kaplan and Robin Ward confirmed that there was some dissension in their lives they're trying to resolve.
I'm going through a divorce. I will be getting a divorce. And he is too. So, I don't think we really have a disagreement. I think that we have some things that we have to work through before we can be as one.
Bill, how did you get involved in this? Was it because of Robin, or is it something you sought out on your own?
Early last year, I came to Casadega, took a reading for half an hour, and everything that I was told last January, February has essentially come to pass almost to the month.
With curiosity threatening to devour my psyche and thrust into a briar patch filled with psychics, I, too, set for a reading with a woman called Birdie.
I only present things to you
Through what she termed as spiritual vibrations I was emanating, Bertie peered into a few corners of my life.
The initial D?
Yes.
Who is this?
The initial D is the initial of my wife and the name of my wife, D.
What does the name Michael mean to you?
My son.
He probably doesn't discuss many personal things with you, but there are many personal changes coming for him in '95.
How do you know when someone is misleading you and not telling you the truth?
I don't. I don't really care what you tell me. I can only tell you what I'm feeling, and that's what I work with, and I go and trust with my first impressions.
Cassadaga and the grounds, says medium Marilyn Autry Smith, haven't changed much since 1894 when George Colby persuaded fellow New Yorkers to settle here and practice their clairvoyant and religious beliefs. A century-long endeavor, she adds, has been to help people find themselves.
Many are lost in spirit. They don't know why they're here, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know where they're going. And so the purpose is people helping people.
We use the vibration off these bowls for healing, meditation, alleviating stress.
The props and paraphernalia of this psychic way station, even the town itself and all it represents, are not for everyone. But it is for some. After all, the mind often willingly believes what it wishes. Larry Woods, Across America, in Cassadaga, Florida.
Oh, Karen, I see a brilliant future for you.
Yeah?
With me on this show.
Right.
From Psychic City to Syrup City, we'll leave you with some pictures of maple syrup making in New Hampshire.
Yeah, short stack for me, please. We'll see you again.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been a presentation of CNN News for Living.